Attention! Here is the unequivocal truth that massive corporations are desperate to conceal. The health influencers you trust online are compromised, their independent opinions supplanted by messaging engineered for the sole benefit of Big Pharma and Big Food. This is not a speculative theory. This is documented fact unfolding in plain sight, dictating your diet, your lifestyle choices, and even which health narratives are promoted or discredited. The core of this issue is a crisis of trust. Big Pharma, stained by a history of corruption and massive penalties, totaling over $126 billion since the year 2000, with over $60 billion specifically tied to patient injury and harm, has seen its credibility disintegrate. Desperate to maintain influence, they must now borrow credibility from social media figures who possess the public's ear. These corporations can literally rent an influencer one post at a time, proving that, tragically, everyone seems to have a price. In the new digital marketing landscape, influencers stand to make staggering amounts of money, especially if they are deemed highly trustworthy, qualifying them for the trust multiplier. While an average payout might be $25 per $1,000 views, high trust can multiply this by 8 to 12 times, hitting up to $240 per $1,000 views. For a channel of my size and credibility, a single 60 to 90 second YouTube post could yield between $250,000 and $500,000, potentially exceeding $1 million over time for one piece of content. That astronomical figure is the insane reality of these marketing budgets. And the only reason I retain the audience is trust is because I have consistently refused to participate in these endorsements, choosing instead to focus on providing genuine health guidance, not promoting chemical drugs or ultra-processed junk food. The mechanism of this manipulation is highly sophisticated. Big Pharma and Big Food do not typically engage with influencers directly. They operate through layered public relations, PR, and advertising firms. Within these firms exist dedicated teams whose entire job is to locate, hire, train, and meticulously craft the messaging for social media personalities. The scripts are carefully designed to sound as authentic and independent as possible, while strategically driving corporate agendas. Legally, the Federal Trade Commission, FTC, mandates that these financial payments must be disclosed, yet a staggering over 40% of influencers fail to comply, making it nearly impossible for the average user to trace the true source of the information. Consider the case of Dr. Mike, an osteopath who often advocates for mainstream medicine and vaccines, claiming he has never been compensated by a vaccine company. Yet, public records easily reveal he received well over $1 million from Abbott Labs, a major pharmaceutical company and vaccine manufacturer. This is a direct contradiction and a severe lack of transparency. The corruption extends deeply into the world of nutrition. Dietitians tied to powerful trade groups, such as the American Beverage Association and the Canadian Sugar Institute, have been subject to FTC warning letters. These dietitians were paid to share advice promoting the safety of artificial sweeteners, like aspartame, or encouraging the consumption of sugar-containing products, all without adequate disclosure of their financial ties. Coca-Cola's classic tactic, for instance, involves funding experts to push the narrative that obesity is merely a matter of energy balance, emphasizing exercise while diverting all attention away from the toxic effects of their sugary drinks. This is pure deflection, designed to protect billions in revenue. I hold the opinion that one of the most glaring conflicts of interest rests within the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, A&D, which shapes national nutrition policy. Investigations have uncovered over 80,000 pages of correspondence between Big Food and this organization, revealing that they receive funding from Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Hershey's, and have leaders who consult for major pharmaceutical companies. How can an organization remain independent when it is financially integrated with the very industries it is supposed to regulate? Their most powerful trick is not who they pay, but how they frame the debate through myth-busting campaigns. Sponsored videos are strategically created to label alternative, science-backed viewpoints, like my own work on keto and intermittent fasting, or the health concerns surrounding seed oils, as misinformation or dangerous, without ever providing substantive, detailed counter-evidence. They focus on repetitive messaging, such as the unsubstantiated claim that the ketogenic diet is unsafe or causes issues like atrial fibrillation, based on flawed studies that often do not even represent a true low-carb diet. The goal is to install sponsored education into the minds of the next generation, ensuring that they learn about health through the lens of corporate propaganda, not independent research. They defend seed oils, for example, by claiming the oils themselves are not inherently bad, conveniently ignoring the intensive processing, heat, solvents, deodorizers they undergo before they even reach the consumer, a process that creates toxic byproducts and is known to contribute to insulin resistance. So, what is the antidote to this widespread manipulation? It is awareness, skepticism, and critical thinking. You must learn to connect the dots. What is the true intention behind the message? Is the content encouraging you to consume fewer ultra-processed foods and chemical drugs, or more of them? Investigate the funding sources of the influencer or organization. As long as we continue to blindly accept information from sources controlled by massive corporate interests, we will be deliberately steered away from genuine health and towards dependency and disease. We must be conscious consumers of information, demanding truth and transparency, because your health is not a business model to be exploited.